In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of research surveys in businesses, specifically focusing on small and medium enterprises. Hi, my name is Dr. Vili Abraham. I'm a professor of consumer behavior, lecturer, researcher, and today I would like to talk about a topic which has received increasing attention in both academic circles and the industry. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've titled this video, Unlocking Business Success. And the reason that I've included these words is because if you conduct surveys properly, you phrase questions properly, and you know what to ask, and you analyzed data based on advanced statistical tools, and it's done by an expert, it can really pave the way to a more successful business. So the title is Unlocking Business Success, the Power of Survey Research for Small and Medium Enterprises, although big businesses can also benefit. So why is it important to understand consumer needs and market trends? Well, it's important because if you understand the needs of your customers, you are able to address them better. And if you're better able to address them in relative to the competition, then your customers are going to be more satisfied. The more satisfied they're going to be, the more loyal they will be. And the more customers are loyal, the more we are able to sell them more, cross-sell, and offer them products which they haven't consumed previously. So survey research is gaining momentum, and conducting research can provide valuable insights into your business. Today, one of the problems that many businesses have is that they know that there is abandonment, customers buying once or using a service one time but not returning. And many businesses are left with a big question mark. Why haven't consumers returned? Why have my customers returned? And if you know why they have not returned, you know what the problem is, and you are able to address it in a timely fashion, this can save you lots of money in the long run. And it's a proven fact that it is a lot more expensive to bring in new clientele, to acquire new customers, as opposed to maintaining or retaining customers. So if you have a customer who is not satisfied, it would be much more cost efficient to compensate the customer to make him or her happy rather than lose the customer and spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to gain a new one. So survey research is known to help SMEs, all right? When I say SMEs, I mean small, medium enterprises, identify and understand their target audience. So it really depends what kind of survey you would like to build. I've started mentioning, survey to create. I've started mentioning surveys that focus on customer satisfaction, but it can be anything. I mean, if you're a new business, or you see that there is a new type of customers coming into your store or buying your service, you want to know who they are, what distinguishes them from other segments, what age group they belong to, what income, education level, etc. A research survey is the tool to do it. Many times, intuitively, we segment our target market and we make all sorts of assumptions about the age group, their level of income, etc. And many times it's not very accurate. So if we want to get an accurate picture about our target market, to identify them better and understand them as an audience, then surveys is definitely a tool. This is sometimes triangulated, and it's really recommended to triangulate survey research with experimental research, where you let customers try out different products and you register their reactions. It can also be in-depth interviews or focus groups, which are in a dynamic of 7 to 10 purposefully chosen customers, where there is a moderator who asks questions that have been guided by the CEO, SMO, or the VP of marketing usually. So there are many examples of businesses that have successfully used surveys in order to make their business more successful, to make their marketing efforts more cost efficient, to retain customers, make them happier, and increase loyalty. So whether it's in the service scape, restaurants, hotels, whether it's retailers, really across the board, many have used it. Small businesses do not tend to use it as much as I believe they should, but it does gain momentum. And if you have a small business, medium business, and you have never done any survey, you want to know what your customers think about your business, you want to know who they are, a research, which can take a couple of days, a week maybe, depending on the type of research you want to do. If it's a survey, it's done fairly quickly. If it's in-depth interviews, it takes a little bit longer. If it's focus group, it can take a few hours, but analyzing the data can take a few days. So service can be used to gauge customer satisfaction levels. It's something that I've mentioned. And if we know whether our customers are satisfied, then we can take steps in order to present, to introduce new products, offer a broader variety of services that may be suitable to them if they're happy and they're returning customers. If they're not satisfied, then we will be able to identify why they're not satisfied and why we're losing them, which is super important. So one of the things about survey research is that you have to put in effect what is called a customer feedback loop, which is intended to enhance or improve the overall business performance. This essentially means that it should be a one-time thing. You should constantly survey your customers about different aspects of the business, customer satisfaction, whether they're happy with the new product or a new product that you have introduced, whether there's something else they think that it would be appropriate bringing in order to increase the product line so that they don't go to your competitors. So there's really a broad spectrum of studies that you can do. And it's really best to ask your market what they want. Many times we think that if we are in love with a product and we think that it's good, then our customers would also think the same. But many times what we believe is a good product, or what we believe would bring us cost effectiveness or value, is not in line with our customers. So market research, investigating what your customers think, should be done in conjunction with analyzing your competitors. And when we talk about analyzing the competitors, this could be done in various ways. It can be done through analyzing secondary data that is available on the internet. And you can also ask your customers about competitors. What do they think about their product offers? Have they tried buying something from your competitors, and how was their experience? So you can also gain a lot of insights about competitors through your customers, because remember, not all customers are loyal just to one store, one brand. There are a lot of switchers, people who all the time go and shop in different places. Now, they could be your loyal customers to the same extent that they're loyal customers of another shop, but they're just like switching around and buying in different places all the time. Now, when you craft surveys, it is important that you phrase the questions appropriately. And the number of questions should be limited to maximum 10, but that's even a lot. I would try to keep it to about 4 or 5, because the longer the questionnaire, the more the items, the less likely your customers will be willing to respond, because it does take time. So if you ask a question about, let's say you want to know whether people would be willing, your customers would be willing to buy a product that you want to introduce, or how much they will be willing to pay for it because you want to price it. So it's really important that you avoid asking these two questions in one question, okay? Combining it into one question. So for example, phrasing a question like, would you buy the product and how much you would pay for it, or how much you'd be willing to pay for it? That's not a good idea to do. I would just separate it into two questions. Would you be willing to buy the product, or how likely are you to buy the product? And here I would use a scale ranging from 1, highly unlikely, to 7 or 5, highly likely. And then in a separate question, I would ask, how much would you be willing to pay, and give price ranges. So let's say $1 to $9, $10 to $19. Of course, it could be, ranging in the choices could be a range of $100, so $0 to $99, 100 to $199, etc. So it really depends on the price of the product. I would avoid asking yes/no questions as much as possible, because yes/no questions do not give you the depth that scale items can provide. So for example, if you ask a customer or your customers whether they are satisfied, and it's a yes/no question. So let's say they all say yes, or many of them say no. Then what does no mean? I mean, are they completely unsatisfied or somewhat satisfied? And what about the customers who say they're satisfied? Are they somewhat satisfied, satisfied, or very satisfied? So using scale items will enable you to gain much more depth regarding the range of attitudes towards the product. Okay, it shouldn't be binary as much as possible. Now, the thing about using surveys, it's important that you understand that it's an iterative process. It means that it's a process where you create a survey, and many times you would have to rephrase things after having some pilot, to make sure that wording of the items are understood by your customers. So it's not something that you just, you create in 2 minutes and just distribute on a mass scale automatically or right away. It's something that I would take time to work on, and to make sure that it's perfected, that it's understood by the audience. And this is something that can be done with the help of experts, marketing experts. I would also want to emphasize, and for you to understand, that surveys can contribute to building strong customer relationships and brand loyalty, which I've mentioned earlier. Now, how does it affect strong customer relationships, or how does it build customer relationships? When you ask your customers whether they're happy, whether they're satisfied, is there anything they think you should offer? What price would they be willing to pay for a product that you want to introduce? This shows them that you care. And when you show your customers that you care, and you're not just there to sell items, to exchange goods for money, this definitely creates an environment of a customer relationship, because customers feel that they are being heard, that they feel free to express their opinion about the products and services provided. So the stronger the relationship between the brand, the retailer, the service provider, and customers, the stronger the brand loyalty, and the stronger the brand loyalty, the greater the sales and profits. So in this video, I've discussed why it's important to create surveys. I've also mentioned and provided very tip of the iceberg how you should phrase survey items. It should be something you should pay a lot of attention to and take seriously. I've also mentioned that yes/no questions should be avoided as much as possible. Scales are best. 1 to 5, 1 to 7, but not even numbers, like not 1 to 6, 1 to 4, because then you are forcing customers to either be satisfied or unsatisfied, and it doesn't provide room for somebody to give you, let's say if it's a scale from 1 to 5, somebody can choose 3. So it means that he or she is neutral. But if it's 1 to 4, the individual that chooses 2 means that he or she tends to dislike or to be dissatisfied, and if he or she chooses 3, then it means that he or she tends to be satisfied. but you're not allowing the respondents to express a neutral response. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful, and I'm inviting you to share your experiences or your questions in the comments section below. And I will be uploading videos to provide tips on how to make your business more successful on a weekly basis. So thank you very much. Until next week.